Yo, team. Today, I've got the amazing Bill Stack with me, doing this amazing LinkedIn Live. And what's really cool is this is Bill's first LinkedIn Live. Woohoo! Welcome aboard,
Yeah,
bro.
rah rah.
Can't complain with that. We have an amazing event coming up at the end of this month on the Halloween afternoon night. I'm not going to steal Bill's thunder. This is his entire world. So before I get into it, quickly just introduce yourself, Bill, and let's dive into our discussion today.
All right. Thanks, Lucas. Hi, everybody. My name is Bill Stack. I do some business coaching and executive coaching with a company called Action Coach. And I work with Lucas and his team on improving businesses from all different angles in a nutshell. So, and if you want to learn about Halloween, I can give you an update.
Yeah, actually, let's dive into that before we dive into our session. So, we've chosen Halloween because you're a big Halloween person. I'm keen to understand. It's not really a big cultural thing here in Australia. You if you can't tell already, listening in the American accent. So quickly, just explain to us. I'm really interested in myself. Why is Halloween so big in America? Where are you from? And why do we really want to try and bring that vibe to Australia?
Wow, I'm not I'm not necessarily an emissary of all things USA. It needs to be Osmerica. However, I do love Halloween. It is probably one of the most fun weeks in the US. It's just a great time for eating candy and yummy foods and other things. And a lot of parts of the US, we have this thing of it's a proper fall, if you would. So the apples start to be able to be harvested, the pumpkins come out. Things really change in the East Coast, relatively northern side of the US. And a huge part of our population experiences fall and winter. And yes, Halloween has this sort of all kinds of weird origins, but it has turned into basically a fun time for family and friends to get together and have either Halloween parties or bonfires and gatherings, and obviously trick-or-treating with the kids and things like that. Chance to
So it's just a really good vibe.
I rarely see it turn into a really strange vibe. It's just a lot of fun for all different ages, So now, if you go to places like Vegas, things get out of hand, but everything gets out of hand in Vegas.
So let's bring the traditional Halloween vibe to Australia, not bring the Vegas vibe to Australia.
Whatever will take hold is what will take hold. It's not like everything has to be everywhere, right? So
exactly. And so this coming, I'm going to say Halloween, but essentially on the 30th of this month, 30th of October, we're running a Halloween special, which is all around scaling your business less scary.
right.
And I love that analogy. So there's obviously Bill and I work really closely together. We work with joint clients, and there's a really good synergy here with both what Bill does and what I do. So, you know me, you hear me every single day of the week. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Bill and quickly just dive into some aspects of what we're going to uncover in the workshop and who the workshop will be for to make sure they get the most out of it on this very, making scaling less scary workshop that we got coming up.
Sure. Where would you like me to begin, or?
Yeah, go for it. I'll hand the mic over to Hugh.
This would be my chance to sort of let the viewers know how I see myself or in the mix of everything. If you've ever seen F1 racing, where you have dozens of highly paid, very dedicated engineers working their particular aspect of the feature of that car, and then a whole communications team coaching and training on the actions of the driver. Lucas works on both the car and what the driver needs to see and who needs to make the decisions. And my job is to make sure that those people know how to make good decisions on the data that they're getting and that they actually do it, right? That's my job, is to help them know lap after lap, race after race, season after season that they're winning. And we sort of work together similarly to make businesses do the same, because if they don't, sometimes business owners, if they don't realize that they're in a race against their own time and their own lost opportunity cost against time. They're not going to be here over 1,000 years. They're not even going to be in their job for 100 years. They're going to be here for a certain amount of time, and we need to make the most of that race time, period. So that's how I look
I
at
love that analogy, man. I haven't heard you say that one before. It's really cool, and it makes sense, right? It's because, especially where my mind went, it was like that 24-hour really long race, and it's like really grueling 24-hour right, and it's not for everyone, right? In that not sure if it's F1, the sports car, and it's like take that and then put that into the business world, and we either see businesses that really want to scale fast, or they're happy doing what they're doing for the next 20, 30 years. But at the end of the day, we all have the same amount of time. So it's how we use that time effectively.
Yeah,
Cool. Love it.
Yeah, and business owners have a have a benefit to sort of sometimes allow an illusion of non-competition be real in their heads for a long time. I believe we teach what's called co-opetition, so that you and your strategic alliances are always trying to get better and to serve that market better. But if you don't, there may be a young upstart that basically either worked for Crofty or knows Crofty stuff and can out Crofty you. And if you don't sort of pay attention to those features that we all provide together as a coherent unit between Lucas and myself and his team and other vendors to make your business do well, you might see like, why is it so hard to make sales this year? Or why is it so hard to have the clients come back? And now things are so weird. I can't get my guys, and I can't do this or that as well as I used to. It's might be because we're not tending that garden well enough. Just saying, So
Absolutely.
Cool.
And so in this upcoming workshop, where I guess we'll dive into what we're going to be focusing on like the tech side of things, how to get the right tech in the right parts of the organization for scale. Yes, my entire world's AI automation, but let's just use the word technology, because technology encompasses every part of the organization. And you need to make sure you have the right tech at the right time. You don't want to go out too fast, too hard, get the wrong tech, scale, and the next minute you got to throw all that in the bin and then start again. And I see that way too many times. You're going to be focusing on the team building, the growth aspect around that, and maybe you can give us some information around what you see, or the common pitfalls you see. And then we just want to, I guess, dive into the sustainability of business expansion, right? Because at the end of the day, it's great scaling, but then we need to make sure it's sustainable long term. Now, sustainable from a tech point of view, I can talk about that all day around, but I guess from your perspective, it's like when I think about sustainability, I go, well, burnout comes to mind. How do we ensure the leaders, the staff don't get burnout? So let's just dive quickly into the team building aspect of growth, and then the sustainability conversation.
Sure. Well, when a company sort of takes a full assessment of wherever it is at any time of its life cycle, there are strengths, vulnerabilities, the standard SWOT stuff that we learn about in school. Hopefully people have seen that. And there are ways to patch up what exists and then fortify entirely new ways of doing things, so that you can jump over yourself and get over the things that have been holding you back in the past. For instance, taking control of the entire team's time, not just having one or two really organized people helping out a bunch of unorganized people, but how do we set the culture up? How do we set the feedback loops up? How do we set the communication cycles up, so that certain things that are important things get looked at, talked about, decided on, and then acted on? That's the kind of stuff that I work on. And by the way, this is just a different kind of tech. The technology helps the humans work faster, more effectively, but the human helps human work more effectively, faster, more accurately, more beneficially for the customer and the business. It's a two-edged sword, or double-sided tape, whatever you want to look at it. And so the problems tend to fall into one of three categories. Time. What is everyone doing? How much wastage of time is there? Is there waiting on information? Is there double, triple handling information? Is it the right information, and it almost always has to go and get double or triple checked again, when really, if it was just looked at better at the first, as it was, being first recorded, etc., that it's garbage in, garbage out. You don't want to put the garbage in the first place. Then how much time is being wasted? Are we spending a huge salary on somebody to do a menial task, or are we having people that are sort of upstarts in the company still learning, doing those types of tasks as they are learning to the more complex tasks later on in their team life cycle. That's when they start earning more. That's when they start being worth more. That's when they start being responsible for those types of more complex activities. Is there a mismatch there? Are the right people doing the right job at the right time? And is that as fluid and efficient as possible? Second,
the right
it would be
in the right role at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. And with the right backup, that person gets sick, goes on vacation. Who's the person to step into the role, either temporarily or permanently? Click, 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 click. How is that organized? Another type of concern would be money. Are they selling the right things? Is this the stuff that's competitive? Is it priced high enough sometimes to make it even worthwhile for purchasers to purchase with confidence? Sometimes people undercut and they'll end up losing sales because it's just not right. Is the pricing mix and the value mix good for that market? And do you even have language like that in your business, right? Are the types of discussion you put in strategically every quarter into your milestone making to know what kind of tech needs to be brought to bear, what kind of improvements that you do on your side will make a good benefit in the business. So that's that. The third thing would be, what is the final, what's the real destination? Why is the business doing this? What type of culture do we want to serve out there in the marketplace, and what type of culture do we want to serve internally as team members? So those are types of things that I tend to help with. There are a bunch of others, but we have a whole system for shaking out. If you do certain things at a certain level, the other next level tasks get easier to do because you have certain things done at the first level. Yeah, so time, team, or money is usually where I do a lot of my work to help businesses.
Love that. And it's honestly this complete relationship between what you do and technology, right? It's like symbiotic, and especially talk about artificial intelligence these days. It's like humans working with AI together, and I think it's so crucial. And this is what's really missed, is like there's all this fear around AI is going to replace my jobs, and the disjointed connection between using technology, and it's usually this arm's length approach. Like, I do it my way, technology's over here. It's like we need to make this a wholesome relationship between both. And so yeah, I love what you just said. It's awesome.
Yeah, cool.
So this is the Eventbrite link that we have up. We've got maximum of 15 people. It's a very intimate session. We're hosting it here at Gasworks in our office. So nice and local for everyone. You get free parking for a couple of hours downstairs. And essentially, we want to dive into your organization and help you scale your business, right? And so this is all the information that we've just gone through. Super easy to jump on board. As I said, it's a maximum 15 people in the room because we want this to be very focused and very much on your business. So yes, it's going to be educational, but we want to really pull out the key information from your organization and how can we help it literally on the spot. And that's what I love about intimate workshops rather than just these big events that we do.
Agreed. It's just enough passive to get active on their business, to make decisions and have insights that when they walk out, they're going to be changing their methodologies like that day. So that's what we want. Yeah. And they'll know why. They'll know why they need to make that change. That's key.
And I always ask the question, what is the key action takeaway we're going to get from this? And we're actually going to act in our business, because there's no point coming along to a session like this, in my opinion. You go along to a session, you meet great people, sure. You have fun, maybe you do a bit of networking, you do some Halloween treats and some drinks. But you ideally want to go along to a session to physically get out of the session what you're going to implement in your business tomorrow. And we'll make sure we always dive into that when we kick off and when we finish, to make sure there are action items that people will walk away with and physically get value out of the very intimate session.
Yeah.
So who is this for and who is this not for?
It's not for typical startups that don't even know where they are in the market yet. They kind of want some foothold in the market. And it's for people who have either decided upon getting team members relatively soon, or already have team members, and they're going to be adding more team members over 2025. They want a good strategy for making sure who's going to be doing what and why. And if they want to remove their workload a little, but still have the business grow safely, and therefore their headspace can be freed up so that the business actually grows in 2025 instead of just sort of making sure 2025 looks just like 2024. So
it's the companies that actually want to scale. Like it's if you want to if you're plateauing and you're happy to do what you've always done, this might not be for you. But if your mindset is that you want to scale, then this is definitely for you. And that's why we're saying we're making scaling less scary, right? Because scaling is scary. And I said this to Bill before we jumped on the call. Like I'm going through that process right now in my business where we've decided to scale again. And I said, why am I doing this? Like it's a lot of effort to scale. And so, and I'm going through the journey myself again right now. And I say again, because I've been through this journey many times and we always say, why do we do it? But you know,
anything that's worth it,
right?
It's worthwhile, and it therefore has effort involved. Yeah. If scaling was super, by the way, we see a lot of these super scaling stories, right? And yes, they do happen, but the vast majority of businesses that end up scaling is just because the team members that are running it are diligent and focused and learn just what they need to learn to go to the next level, and maybe even insert balance back in their lives so they don't do burnout, because that's a huge way scaling just collapse on itself, is they're burning out the very people that are willing to give it all. And you should give it all to that work-life balance as you're scaling. So that would be my point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm super looking forward to this. It's going to be awesome. I love how we're doing a really intimate one. For those listening, we typically do large events, 30, 50, 80, 100 people. So I'm really looking forward to this really intimate event. So if you are keen to come along, highly recommend you do. And let's dive into your business together. Any last words, Bill, before we crack on?
I'd say be ready to contribute to the others in the room as well. Not just listen and learn, but hopefully you might be able to see a fellow attendee's situation from a different point of view and have something to contribute. We're always willing to learn from anybody, which is good.
Absolutely. Everyone's got some story that they can share that others can learn from. Absolutely. Yeah. Love it, man. Thank you very much for jumping on now. And I'm glad I was able to pop that LinkedIn cherry of yours, and looking forward to this session together.
Thanks, buddy.
Cheers, guys.
Bye now.